What up, is your boy Soulo. Now we're back here again with another video, and this is gonna be about how religion is a form of indoctrination, brainwashing, and how it's being passive aggressive, which is makes individuals toxic, self-serving, and not seeing the whole picture of everything. So with religion, allegiance, they promise you all these things, a heaven, Jesus waiting for you, your savior, bringing the holy ones into the kingdom and things of that nature, when the only reason you're in a religion is because of the hardship of life and how the system implemented the hardships of life, and which creates a lot of hardships in the society, in the environment, based on the economy, the food, the limitation of education and things of that nature. And when you have all these chaotic limitations on how to keep people happy, or just having a healthy economy, then this is a result of what religious people think of free will. So you got to question this. If there's a God that you believe that's outside of you, wouldn't you think the government knows about that already and won't do the bad things that they're doing to keep the environment in a unhealthy situation? So you got to think about that shit. You just can't believe what you want just for the sake of being fearful on going to hell. They made you think that hell is a thing. A devil is waiting for you in hell and is waiting to get you, or whatever, or demons, and all that voodoo spiritual pseudo shit that they tell you that, oh, don't touch that, as witchcraft. And they talk about how astrology is witchcraft, and that's not true. That's them keeping the truth away from you by telling you lies. And you need to understand that this land has been colonized, and the white people implemented their ideology onto Yah. Like, this is how they do business. This is how they think. This is how they like to do things. It has nothing to do with nature. It has nothing to do with the universal law of how things work. They're just trying to conquer and implement religions and sciences and all of that bullshit, which has nothing to do with God. That shit is synthetic. And this is what's causing all the retarded mental illnesses today, with religion and science and whatever biases there is. Because with religion and science, they're utilizing your mind to pay attention to something, when your mind and your emotions is what you're supposed to pay attention to. Everybody is utilizing these things to pay attention to something outside of them, when internally these are spiritual tools that's helping us create the world, helping us create morals and principles and how to conduct ourselves into reality. And as a spirit, these are the tools that we're using: the masculine, the mind, and the feminine, the emotions. The masculine is how we externalize, how we envision, how we come up with ideas and concepts on how to look, on how to navigate and see things. And the emotions is how we feel about these things, if we like to get into that type of world or not. We choose to get into, or whatever seems necessary to do so. And your emotions is a mechanism of going into the world. What makes you feel comfortable, what makes you be in that space, that emotional space of stability and fulfillment. And this is how we are creating the world as a collective. That if you want to have a different perspective of the truth, which this is the truth, how God created everything was the spirit is nothing. Something came from nothing, and nothing developed. The spirit is nothing, and it developed a mind, and that mind externalized a vision, an idea, a concept. And that's the travel that it's going through to build the natures that we're in right now, what we call Earth. Astrology, all these natures, all these characteristics, the beasts are the natures that we're in. This human stimuli, this animalistic stimuli, all these animals, organisms, insects, plant life, this is what it is. This is the astrology that we're in. And you know, with religion, you're using your mind to get into something instead of observing yourself, how your internal energies work. That's what they're using against you. You're not fully utilizing your godly divine power as a spirit. To tap into the spirit, you have to be in tune with nature. You know, they tell you not to meditate in religion, and that's how they get you. Even though prayer is a form of meditation, you're most likely praying for something in a way to manifest something, which still works because it's part of the universal law. But you know, they're not teaching you that your mind is an atmosphere. Your whole body is an atmosphere, and it's connected to nature. And you know, the spirit is utilizing the mind to push out, to create ideas and concepts, to evolve, to travel and navigate. And you know, when it does that for long periods of times, when it's getting into those images and ideas, those concepts, those visions, it vibrates into that world. It vibrates into that reality, and those vibrations are like feelings. It becomes dense. It becomes emotions, and those emotions are, you know, it creates physicality. You know, whatever you think about, if you think about it and you have a certain feeling towards it, if you feel a certain way in your flesh about it. If you're too anxious, if you have too many thoughts and you're nervous, you know, you will feel that amongst your body, like right on your body. So people are living in reverse. People are trying to use a mind to suit the flesh, to be satisfied as a spirit, when you're supposed to understand, not to get lost in your mind, you understand the mind for what it is, and not to get lost in your emotions. And this is what we're doing as spirits. So, you know, religion is a form of is lostness, and it's guiding people into their own hell, because they're not understanding the bigger picture of what this is. You're not supposed to do whatever you want, because this shit is, like, think about it, this shit is really serious. We're here, you know, it's not just an experience, but this experience is, you know, God-given, is divine. You know, we are creating our experience from within, and this is what people need to realize it. But yeah, I'm gonna just leave it at that. Peace.